Brooks have brought something insane to the market. Now let me tell you all about it. So this is the new Brooks Glycerin Max, a brand new shoe in the Brooks range, which is designed for the everyday runner who wants to run as long as possible in as much comfort as possible in mind. In store, we regularly speak to people who are just building up to their first half marathon or their first marathon, and they just want to get to that North Star, that goal that they've had all year. They want to get there in as pain-free and as much comfort as possible. Lack of cushioning, joint protection and shock absorption can put a lot of runners off before they really get going. And while there are a lot of shoes on the market that will tick a lot of those boxes, let's find out why the Glycerin Max is the ultimate answer. Let's dig into the technical details of this shoe, but we'll also cover why it feels the way it does, so make sure you watch it all. Stack height, 45mm, so a 6mm drop, 45 at the back, 39 at the front. And for those eagle ears of you, 45mm, yes, this will be illegal in a race. Now I say illegal, I mean technically it's illegal at 45mm, with the World Athletics limit being a 40mm midsole is the legal limit. Whether you'd want to wear this shoe if you were chasing a PB and you were at that level of runner, highly unlikely. Something that nobody else seems to be mentioning on any reviews that we've come across so far is the GlideRoll Rocker at the front of the shoe. Due to the 45mm stack, this is quite an aggressive rocker which is needed to help you toe off from this much midsole and on that forefoot. So yeah, quite aggressive, and when you put it on you do really feel that rock as you kind of try to step forward. I've just grabbed the ladies, so you can see the ladies colorway, but yeah, in terms of sizing, this is very much true to size. I'm a 10 in pretty much all brands and all shoes. I'm a 10 in this. Width-wise, whilst this looks like a very wide shoe, it is nice and spacious. It's not as wide as, say, a Topo or, say, the Saucony Ride 18. I find quite wide at the front as well. But yeah, just nice and generous, but does lock down really well when you do these laces up. The weight on a men's size 9.5 is around the 300 grams mark, which seems a little on the heavy side, but it does not feel like it on foot. It's a lot of shoe, as you can see with the size this midsole, but this nitrogen infused midsole, which we'll come on to, makes it feel really light, and you certainly don't notice that when you're running. I mean, if you're comparing it to like a Hoka Max 6 or something like that, which is a lot more minimal, a lot more lightweight, then yeah, you're going to feel a difference, but generally you don't really feel it on your foot, which is great. The upper on this shoe, which you can see there, is actually a triple layer jacquard mesh. So the glycerin, which we covered last week, is actually a double layer. This is a triple layer, which you think would make it really warm and really kind of not breathable. I've seen smoke tests of this shoe where they pump a lot of smoke into it, and it completely gets rid of it. It's not as warm as you think it would be for triple layer. It's very breathable. So yeah, very plush. So you get that lovely triple layer feel on your foot, which makes it feel nice and comfy. But it's not warm. It is breathable. So panic not. So as you can see there, it's got a nice padded tongue and also a nice padded collar around the heel and the Achilles. It has been mentioned on other reviews that I think this tongue has come straight from the Go 16. I've just compared it to a Go 16, and to be fair, this feels a little bit more plush with a padded tongue. What can happen sometimes, and doesn't happen with this shoe thankfully, is that when the tongue is too padded, you lock the laces down, but because there's a little bit of give in that tongue, it doesn't quite lock down as much as you want, and it causes a little bit of heel slippage. Now, it locks down well anyway, but I think with this extra cushioning around the heel collar and around the Achilles, it just stops that. But I think if you are prone to heel slippage because of the shape of your foot, then it's nothing that a runner's loop wouldn't solve anyway. So all good. In terms of stability, whilst this is a neutral shoe, or what has previously been called neutral, there's no added support or stability in this shoe in terms of guide rails or medial post or anything like that. It is, as you'll see there, quite wide across the forefoot and quite wide across the heel as well actually, which obviously naturally will give you that little bit of extra stability, not so much in the way of support, but if you can imagine walking across a plank of wood versus walking across a tightrope, you get much more stability on that plank of wood because that base is so much wider. And it's the same with this. Little bit of a wider base just gives you that bit more stability. I've gone back to the men's briefly to show you the outsole because it just the colours are so opposite that it's easy to see. So this outsole, there's plenty of it. As usual with Brooks, it's nice and hard wearing, nice and durable. You're not going to be looking for new shoes after 100 miles. They've cut out the sections here to twofold to allow a bit of flexibility in the forefoot, but also to keep the weight of the shoe down. But yeah, plenty of coverage, and yeah, I think the midsole is quite hard wearing as well, so don't worry about the sections that are exposed. I think you'll be fine. Something that I love about this, you can see it there, it's not just cosmetic. You can see the two different colours here around the toe. Inside there is a toe guard, which you can feel with your hand. You cannot feel it with your foot, but if you're prone to coming through the front of your shoes, firstly, check the size. It's a common thing if your shoes are too small that you push through the front anyway. But if that is something that happens to you and your shoes are sized correctly, this is going to give you a bit more protection in that area as well, which is a nice touch from Brooks. Well done. So that's the majority of the technical detail covered, but I've kept the best to last. The reason that this shoe is so good for long distance and is so comfortable is because of that. DNA Tuned, the new midsole from Brooks that we featured last week on the Glycerin 22 video, and there's even more of it in this shoe. So what is DNA Tuned? Well, it's the new midsole from Brooks, leading on from DNA Loft version 3, which was also nitrogen infused, but this is a nitrogen infused midsole. And the reason that it's called Tuned, which we'll show again there, is because of the way that they have tuned it so that you have larger nitrogen cells in the heel and smaller nitrogen cells in the forefoot. And the reason for that is as you land, those larger cells absorb the shocks. You get a nice plush feeling on the heel. And the reason of the smaller cells at the front of the shoe is that it gives you that quicker toe off. Now, if you look underneath, this isn't just aesthetics. You can see the two different foams, even though they've kind of been blended into one. Two different nitrogen cell sizes then is the white foam here for the larger cells, and the yellow midsole there is where the smaller nitrogen cells are, and that just, as I say, helps you to toe off that much quicker. So a massive update from Brooks in terms of midsole capabilities and technologies on a brand new shoe. Winner. Price, £180. It's a lot for a shoe, it's a lot for a daily trainer, but I think if you look at the Glycerin at 165 and the amount of extra midsole that is in this shoe and the plushness of it, if that's a word, it's justified for the extra £15. If you like that sort of thing. It's a lot of midsole, it's a lot of shoe. Some people don't like that much, they prefer to keep it a bit more grounded. If you've got ankle instability, maybe a little bit soft and a bit too much for you, but yeah, £180, worth it all day long, I think, for the comfort, for chewing up those miles. I keep saying it about certain shoes on this channel, but for chewing up those miles, longer distance, in comfort, what a shoe. If you're not subscribed to the channel already, please give us a like and subscribe on this video. Stick your comments below if you've already tried the shoe and let us know what you think about it. And yeah, keep watching and thank you, and we'll see you soon.